They had the spooky ambience. They had the green lighting on the outside. They had skeletons. They had scary pumpkins. Look, if I was married and I owned my own property and I had kids, that's me. That's me. That's what we feeling to do. The commitment to that house. Hey y'all. So welcome to another Paint Your Truth session. This is different from the last because the last we left on a cliffhanger, and then the session before that we left on a cliffhanger, and then like this was supposed to be the completion, but I was inspired yesterday, which was Halloween, to start this canvas. It's really a creative thing. Like you start something but you don't finish it off, and you start something different but it'll all tie up at the end, because that's what creatives do. We just do things. We do art. So yes, this is another Paint Your Truth Truth session, self-care painting session. I was inspired to draw and outline something, and it was interesting. I pulled out some cards because I read energies. I'm a tarot reader, and I have a deck that is called, if I can find it, the Sacred Oracle deck. It is a self-care oracle deck. If you can see it, let me lay it flat. This is the way that it looks. It is a 55 card deck, and I was shuffling yesterday, and this card came out, sex. And TMI, I'm not getting none, so I was just like, okay, that's the energies, I guess, but I'm out of commission right now because my monthly's here. TMI, but we're cool on this channel. We could go that deep. And then I shuffled again to see what could I actually do at this time and space. And then this card came out, which was energy work, which I really felt like this spoke to me versus this particular card. So I infused the two on a blank canvas, and I have this. So this is what I have gathered. I really have improved in my sketching. Of course, this is like a naked woman's body, and the outline in the back, that is inspired by this image, number 44, sex. So it's the outline of the body, and this figure that is in the meditation pose. This is energy work number 22. Combine the two, and this is what I've gotten. So we're going to fill this in, and I'm just going to let you know what has been happening and going on in my life since the last time I left y'all. And this time, because I am a woman of my word, but I also am a creative, so it's kind of like water and like oil, or like it doesn't really mesh, but like if you really put the effort into really spinning, whipping, stirring, you can get something to happen, but usually on itself it does not merge. So I say all this to say is that I still got the pop-up art to do with the owl. If I can grab that real quick. I still have this. It has not been completed. It's the same way the last time we left off. And I still have the dried paint. This time it's completed, so I have to grab certain pieces, glue it on the canvas to give it that pop-up effect. But this is not what we're here for today. Perhaps when we're done with this, we can get back to this. But what we're going to do is just paint and just chill and just vibe out. This is kind of an interesting introduction because usually I'm like, welcome to Self-Care Painting, Paint Your Truth. I tell you all the jazz about Paint Your Truth, which I am. But I guess this is a little unorthodox today. This happens to be November 1st. So it's a new month, a new day, and it's the beginning of the week. So let me get into the routine of things and introduce myself. My name is V, and this is Paint Your Truth Self-Care Painting Session. Usually I do these on the weekend, and then I upload a completed and edited and just crisp video of our painting sessions and conversations that we have. But today's Monday, like I said, new month, new day. And we're still going to do self-care. So at Paint Your Truth, what I do is I provide people the materials. I provide the canvases, the paint palettes, and now you will see as I carry on with my painting, I have a whole bag, couple of bags actually, of paints, all the paints. So I provide all the materials, and what the people do, the clients do, is show up and be ready to paint. What makes this a little different than the typical painting session is the fact that there is no image that other people have to imitate. This is not Bob Ross. I don't expect you to be the next Van Gogh. And this is not the typical paint and sip night where you are depicting your version of the same image. Self-care process painting is you getting in touch with yourself and realizing what self-care means to you. When I run these workshops, I typically ask the people who do come and do want to participate 3 simple questions. What did you discover yourself over the course of the pandemic? And this is obviously before, things are getting to normal, whatever that means. But I would ask clients, what did you discover about yourself in the last 16, 18 months? What brought you to paint your truth? Like what encouraged you? What sparked your curiosity? Like, why are you here? And then third, not in order, but of course I would have to ask, like, what is your name? What do you want to be called by? And, introduce yourself. Hi, my name is blah, blah, blah. What I discovered about myself is this, that, and the third. And I'm here at Paint Your Truth because I want to get deeper into my self-care. Boom, boom, bam. So everybody would answer the questions, and then I would have the materials. People would grab the materials that they need. And of course, when it comes to painting, you really only need a penny amount. I know it looks intimidating, the blank canvas, the paint brushes, and all that jazz. Of course, I provide, if you can see, they're kind of wet because I wanted them to soak before I get into the painting. But I provide you the paint brushes. I also have little painting cups, individual, so everything is covered by me. You just got to be willing to participate and really just get into your own personal self-care in a safe space with other people with you, right? So yes, you only need a penny amount. It sounds intimidating. It sounds like it's not enough, but trust and believe me, it is enough because again, you're using water, you're using brushes. It will do what it needs to do. And if you run out and you need more colors, you need more paint, that's fine. You can always grab. But the thing about paints, just like you discovered about toothpaste, once the supply is out, it's hard to get back in. And it ends up looking like this, a whole ass mess. It's wasted paint. It's a pain to clean. So typically, I would tell people to only use a penny amount. If you need more, you can always grab more. That's not an issue. And of course, this palette, I'm saving it for something different with the pop-up art. But you get my drift. But I think I went over the jazz of Paint Your Truth. If you would like to know more information about Paint Your Truth, you could always reach out to me via social media. I am on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube, and my email if you would like to know more information or set up your own painting session, workshop with your friends, your co-workers, your church committee, whatever you're liking. You could always reach out to me if you're in the Massachusetts area via email at paintyourtruth.art@gmail.com. Everything in the description box, just like every other YouTuber. But I think I covered all my bases. Yes, I did cover everything like I was supposed to. And now we're going to get into the painting session. Of course, I'm going to let y'all know where I've been, what I've been doing, and all that jazz like I typically do. And of course, like I mentioned, self-care painting, Paint Your Truth, is about process painting, what self-care looks like to you, not painting the same image. Some people self-care involves water activities like swimming or diving or whatever. Other people, it's more like an adrenaline rush. So they like motorbikes, they like basketball, football. Other people, it's meditation, it's going out to their garden, it's planting seeds, it's gardening. Everybody's version of self-care is different. But in this space of self-care, Paint Your Truth, we are painting what self-care looks like to the individual person. And then once we finish doing what we do, we come back in a circle. We talk about our experience, what we have created, and how we will implement that into our everyday lives. Because self-care is not just a day, it's not just a moment, it's an everyday thing. Insert self-care, even if it's for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, however you can on your regular daily basis, because you need you more than you need anybody else. And if you ain't good for you, then how you gonna be good for the other people? Period. Now, I can, but I'm super excited to start painting. I feel like I haven't done this in a very long time, which is actually true. I haven't done it in a while, and I want to get into it. Like I said, Sunday was Halloween, and I didn't participate in the festivities, but I did on Halloween Eve, so it'd be like the 29th, not Sunday, but Saturday. I did participate. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm not even gonna BS y'all. I went to Salem, Massachusetts because I'm from Massachusetts. So like, duh, right? But they say now people my age are geriatric millennials. I didn't really have the stamina to be out all night, you know, throwing around in a circle and doing the absolute most. I did not. I went around the late evening to Salem. We got there. Thank God. Hallelujah. When we came, because it was the center of Salem, like downtown Salem, there was a parking garage place, but they were charging $25 to park your car. I said, what? During these times, inflation, people not having enough money, work is funny, money ain't coming like it used to, things are expensive. You trying to charge $25 to hold a car? Sir. No, sir, no, ma'am. So we didn't do that. And then we kept on driving, and we didn't drive for long, like maybe 30 seconds. We passed the garage, and the friend who was driving, because it was the three of us, she spotted someone leaving their parking spot as we were about to pull away from that area. So she waited until the person pulled out so she can get that spot. And I felt like the person felt some type of way because they paid for the parking, but they're about to leave and somebody else is about to get it for the free. And I was like, ma'am, you're already done. You already packed up your stuff. You're about to hop up in the driver's seat. Like, you don't need to reserve this spot. Like, you're not utilizing it. We could utilize it. Don't be a Karen. Just move on out so we can move on in. And we did. So we then ended up walking like maybe less than 10 minutes, 5 minutes to the downtown area. And it was raining. I'm talking about pouring cats and dogs. Like, you could literally take a shower outside raining. And for the whole week leading up to the Saturday, it was raining nonstop. Crazy rain. I was just like, is this a tropical storm? Is this a hurricane? Like, why is it raining every single day? I'm starting to feel my seasonal depression creep up like, hey, do you miss me? And no, I do not. So we get there and it was cool for what it was. Again, it was raining. There was a lot of people. I was surprised there was that much. Well, not that surprised because it is Salem, and when you think of Halloween, especially in Massachusetts, you think of Salem. But it was a lot more people out than I would have expected because of so much rain. It was just so damp. It was just so and it was so gray, and it was just so cold, and it was just so windy. You catch my drift. It wasn't the best of times. So we ended up seeing the Witch's Trail. There's actually red line that shows you like I guess you could say the walk of shame for the witches or the women who were deemed witches. And before, they hanged them and killed them at the town square because that's what people did and still do to this day. But that's not here nor there. And we saw a couple of cool shops or whatever. We saw a couple of little restaurants and whatnot. And you know what? I'm not going to hold it to Salem. I'm not going to make this a Salem issue, more so a weather issue and a pandemic issue. Even though there was a lot of people there, it just did not live up to the hype. I'm just going to be honest with you. And I'm going to just say it's because of the pandemic and more so the rain. I think it was the rain because there was like a carnival thing that they were going to show and do within the downtown area of Salem. They didn't do it because of the rain. Like, you could even see like the carnival Ferris wheel just there and it's not operating because of the rain. And then you just saw like pop-up shops and they didn't really get a lot of attraction because of the rain. You saw tour guides here and there and they got more attraction, but like, who really wants to walk in the rain? Like Missy Elliott, I can't stand the rain. Do, 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 do. I can't stand the rain. It literally felt like that. Because of global warming, let's not forget global warming is an issue, will be an issue, and if the government and corporations don't get their act together, will consistently, persistently be an issue, a bigger issue. So maybe all that I can't stand the rain has to do with all of that, global warming. So we ended up stopping at this like quaint little hole in the wall bar place because they had the shortest line to actually get in. And we got some like food. We talked about life. We talked about our perception on like what's going on. And we just had fun, and we just, saw what Salem had to offer. What really got me, and I'm telling you, it's because I know now. I know better. I know how other states do it, right? Because I came back from DC, I have another state experience, right? I've been to New York, been to Jersey, been to North Carolina, been to Rhode Island, been to Connecticut, whoop-de-whoop. But I'm talking about like somewhere that's, I guess you could say, completely different, because though DC is Northeast, it's not like New York and it's not like Massachusetts. It's its own vibe, right? So now that I have been spoiled by DC, where we don't, well, not we, they, DC natives don't do cover charges. And another thing that I really liked about DC, a lot of the spots don't have cover charges. You just pay for whatever service that you're getting inside, like the club, the bar, the lounge, or whatever. But also what I liked is the fact that you could have like 10 bars or lounges, whatever, on the same street, and they're different folks, different vibes. You might have a gay club, you might have like a young hip urban thing, you might have like more of a pop thing going on, you might have like not really soft rock, but like, just different variations of whatever people desire. So I really like that about DC. But Massachusetts, not really. Not really. I was spoiled by no cover charges, and I came back and I realized that Massachusetts does do cover charges. So I'm like, what do I look like paying 15, 20? Another spot had the nerve to be talking about they charging 50 per head entrance. And they purposely made people wait in line. They were like, oh, we're going to start opening the bar up or the lounge up, whatever, at 8:45. People were in line since like 7:30, 7:45. So people have been in line for a grip. If they truly did open at 8:45, we would have, at least where we were in line, me and my friends were in line, we would have made it in there. Truth be told, probably everybody in that line, even if you were way in the back, would probably get in there because of the wait period. And they said they were going to open at 9:30. So from 8:45 to 9:30 is a 45 minutes. Everybody in line, by the time they do the ID check and it's a fluid line entering into the establishment, everybody in line would have probably gotten in. The people who came after us, they probably would have had to pay that 50 or whatever. So they have us waiting outside. And again, cold, rainy, and doom and gloom, have us waiting outside just for it to be 9 o'clock and be like, oh, by the way, the charge is 80 or 50. And I was like, yeah, you try your mama's life. Don't try my life. It's not worth it. And I see the little teeny boppers, and they're not necessarily teens, but like they're young adults. And you could tell like they really don't have any life experience. They don't have any real bills. They just want to party and hump on something. Because anybody who's grown, like real grown, ain't willing to pay $50. And this is not even like the hottest spot in town. Like you have no artists. You have nothing to really pull in people to want to pay $50 cover charge. Like, try your mama. Don't try me. So nonetheless, I was like, we're good. And we were good. And we left. And then we saw other clubs in the area. But again, like the cover charge thing, not because we can't afford it. It's just like, why though? Like now I know it's not necessary. Why though? Like you're already getting money because we're in the spot. We are drinking. We're eating. We're already in the establishment, like we're gonna come out of pocket. So why charge a cover charge, just an entry fee? So I was like, I'm all set on that. I'm really all set on that. And it's not like a benefit, like, oh, you paying this amount of money, but at least like your drinks are free. Like if you could like balance it out, especially since like people are going through mass resignation, people's money is funny, inflation's up the wazoo. Like if you're gonna charge these ridiculous prices, at least have some benefit. There was no benefit. So I was like, we heading out, and we did. We were all steady and we left, as we should, and we did. So we walked around and saw what other spots are there. But like, I'm going to be honest, from what I done saw from the outside looking in, the music wasn't even all that jumping. And like, again, the cover charge thing and the fact that it was doom and gloom, rainy, it wasn't really that popping. It just was like an X-nay for me. But I don't want to hold it on Salem. I want to just say like it's the weather, because it really was the weather. On top of that, like, I don't know if it's just that one spot is Salem spookiness, or if it's all of Satan, or certain all of Satan. Was that a Freudian slip? I don't know if it's all of Salem. I don't know if it's just a downtown area of Salem, or there's just pockets in the town of Salem that does the spookiness. Where we were was downtown Salem, and it was okay. But I was expecting all like the documentaries and the movies and the scariness and the hauntedness and the this and the that and the third. And it didn't live up to the hype. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It was mediocre at best, and mediocre is just too much of a praise. It wasn't that. Like, I could stroll around with a 5-year-old and they would have looked at me and started yawning. Like, it didn't do anything. We did plan initially, before all the rain and whatnot, to do a haunted house, and I was for it, but it was in the fields and it was all of that, and I was just like, look, I don't want to get wet trying to get into a haunted house and then be wet out of a haunted, like, no. So let's just say Halloween Eve and Halloween was kind of a bust, but it got me into the desire to paint, and now we're about to get into some painting. So that was my festivities. Maybe your festivities was better. We wanted to like bar hop. Like, that was the idea. Go to downtown Salem, go to different bars, bar hop, drink, have a good time, whoop-de-woo. We did drink some. And we had this green tea shot thing, which was actually really smooth. It supposedly has alcohol in it, but I didn't really taste it. So like, it wasn't a total bust, but it didn't live up to the hype. The one thing that really like took us back though is the fact that we were driving back into Boston, and we saw this house. I'm gonna probably put it in this particular video. And them folks, whoever lived in that house, them folks really went out. Like, they decorated the whole house. They had the spooky ambience. They had the green lighting on the outside. They had skeletons. They had scary pumpkins. Look, if I was married and I owned my own property and I had kids, that's me. That's what we feeling to do. The commitment to that house and the festivities. A plus. You don't want for the commitment. I know that light bill for that month is high. It's gonna be high. The commitment, the absolute commitment. A plus. So outside of all of that, it was cool. Like, it's always a cool time hanging out with my friends, so it wasn't a real big issue. And the thing for me that keeps me level-headed is having no expectations. When you have no expectations, this grand idea, this grand idealized expectation, and it doesn't happen, you're not disappointed, because like, it was just vibes. And speaking of vibes, a great transition. I've been really listening to Willow Smith and Tyler, not the creator, but another Tyler. The song "Cut a Vibe." No, meet me at our spot. But I like the hook. Cut a vibe. Maybe we can get to feel your vibe. I really like it. If you haven't heard that song, definitely do, and let me know what you think. Like, I really love the young woman Willow Smith has become. I like that she has found her own voice, her own artistry. I like her grunge rocker look. I love me a black girly who is her authentic self, whatever that means. And I love the fact that she came out with "I whip my hair back and forth, wooty woo," and now she's a different sound. She's a different girl. She doesn't have the permed hair. She has beautiful, long, healthy locks. She seems more assertive about herself, has more agency. She knows who she is. She knows what at least in her artistry. I don't know her personally or nothing like that, but it's the way that she carries herself. It's the confidence to make music that you authentically like, music that speaks to you. Because she's a black girl, her father, Will Smith, was a former rapper in the rap duo Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. Her mother actually was a part of a rocker band. People don't really know that, but besides her entanglements, Miss Jada Pinkett Smith was a rocker at one particular time, so I'm not surprised about that. Jaden does rap, and I think the older brother, Trey, I believe, he's a DJ or whatever. So it's not surprising that they're in the industry. It's not surprising that they're into art and music in particular, but I really like what Willow represents, and not necessarily for Black girls, just the fact that she exists, the fact that she's a new sound, she's a new look, that she makes the music that resonates with her, and it's not typical urban music. Like, I just appreciate art for what it is. Or that's just the type of person that I am. Like, I love me Meg Thee Stallion, but I love me Celine Dion. I love me Faith Evans. I love me Faith Hill. Like, I just love music, and that's just that on that. It might be country today, it may be rock tomorrow, and maybe R&B the next day. Who knows? But if it hits, if it slams, if it rocks, if it rolls, if it hits, if it's a bop, it is what it is, and I'm gonna be there, and that's just what it is. So I like that she owns her artistry. But I've been listening to that song on repeat for the last couple of days. And I've noticed that like songs these days are really short. And I don't know if it's because we're in such a world where everything is just so fast paced. We gotta get things done, whoop-de-woo, that we don't necessarily have the time to like relax and chill out and really consume things. It's like we're always on the go. We're always looking for the next thing. We're always looking for the next vibe, the next mood, the next hype, the next thing, because we're always on the go. We live in the rat race. We live in the gig economy. Everything is fast paced. So it's interesting, like songs these days are shorter, but it really hit. I really think that song is a bop. And it just transcends like every people in the comment section, different races, different this, that, and the third, and they like the song. And it gives me early 2000s vibe. It gives me like the same like nostalgia, like it's waiting to experience something, or the song resonates with an experience that you had, like let's say a summer fling, let's say an adventure, you met someone, it was whimsical, like it was a night, it was a vibe, it was a moment. It reminds me of the song that goes like, I don't know if I'm really hitting the lyrics and the tempo right, but it's like, someday when my life has passed me by, I'll sit around and wonder why you were always there for me. It gives me that nostalgia, like we lived an experience, we had a moment, there was something between us. It gives me that type of vibe, that early 2000 type of like whimsical, that hope, that aspiration type of vibe. And I like, so check it out, let me know what you think. And I think I'm going to go with neutral colors for this particular canvas. Do I got it? I think I got it. Okay, I don't have to get up. Yes, I don't want to get up. The Taurus bull in me is comfortable where I'm at, so I'm going to stay there. I'm going to crack open this metallic bundle that I got from Blick a couple of years, not even years, but a couple of months ago. Got it in the summer, haven't used it. Just cracked it open. And we're going to use it now. Gotta breathe in. The colors that we'll be using is white. Not a lot of it, just a little bit. And these are all the metallic colors. I'm not going to use all of them, but I want you to see like how they look. This is a black, a Mars black. I really like it because it's giving me like outer space, intergalactic theme, my particular canvas, and I'm going to need black, especially Mars black. We have brass here. I don't know if I'm going to use that. We have gold, and if you know me, you know I love me some gold. I don't know if I want to use silver, but there's silver. Put the gold with the black. We also have titanium white. I don't know what that means, but we might use it. Metallic copper. I like the look. I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but we're going to have it regardless. I'm going to put it with the black and the gold. So that's what we're rocking with for today. We have a little bit of that silver. This is a pearl white, I shall say, a pearl white. I'm going to use a little bit of that. I want to have it neutral tones, but I want it to be neutral tones like on black people. And it's kind of like, what? You know how black people are black people, but like we have different shades. Whereas light as, what's old girl name? Tisha Campbell, Gina from Martin. And we're like as dark as like Nina Simone, even though Nina Simone's not the darkest hue, but you catch my drift. Black people, we come in different shades. We global. So I just want to play off of those themes, like neutral colors, but like different shades of neutrality, if that's even a word. Kind of like the owl depiction that I have. It's different tones. But of course, people don't come in this variety of tones all at once. The most that you will get is like some type of like skin blemish or like vitiligo, but like not what I just presented. So I think I'm going to go with these colors, this raw sienna. Hope I said it right. And I'm going to go with this copper. And it's got that golden look. And again, I'm so obsessed with gold. But anyways, that's what we have. I have 2 coppers. Oh, this is a brand new bottle. We're not going to use this. This is new. But we might use that burnt sienna, like I said. Is this burnt sienna? Oh, this is round. This is burnt. So same siennas, just different. One is raw and one is burnt. But we're gonna see what we can do with what we have. I want some yellow, especially when I am done painting. I want to add the stars, and this beige might come in handy as well. Especially when I want to lighten the color, but I don't want it to be white. I might just use this as a base. And brown. I can't tell what kind of brown it is because something spilled on it, but it's a brown. We're using that. And those are the colors that we're going to be rocking with today. So let me pour out my colors. And again, we're only using a penny amount. There's a good amount of it in here. I think it just got thicker and it's not as flowy as it should be. Let me just scoop it out. Think smarter, not harder. Yeah, it's definitely thickened. We're just gonna say this. We'll start it out like that. And the thing about it is it's still tight, so it's not an air issue as opposed to it's been here for so long. And like I said, like something spilled on it or the oils, I'm not really sure. But like, we're gonna work with what we got. That's the point. I think this burnt sienna is new too. No, it's not that new. A little bit of that. Especially when I don't in particular know how I want the colors to sit and settle. I use a little bit to start off first. Let's do that. I'm gonna put 2 of the colors here because I might end up mixing them together. Another important tip too, if you have a little drop of like paint and it's like bulging out of the center, another good tip is to like squeeze it back in, because when you don't and you just flip lid on top of it to close it, it will have this like gunk that piles, this dry paint that kicks up here, which is wasted, as well as it doesn't properly close. So then air will filter in and then the paint that's inside the tube dries out and you're out of paint. And paint is pretty expensive. Let's do a little bit of that beige. I'm gonna put the white here in the center. All right. Usually I would tell people that you only need like tops, like usually 5 colors. And that's the most, because most people stick to about 3. Painting. This is what I mean. It cakes up at the rim. You want to avoid that because it doesn't properly close. So if you have a little bit of paint that pops up, that's already, you know, for example, let me show like this. Before it loops over, try sucking it back in. Like squeeze the sides so the paint droops back in as much as you can, or you could just clean off the top. But the point is, you don't want to allow it to just sit like this and then flip the top over, because it will not properly close, as well as the paint will cake on the lid. Also, it will dry up the paint within the tube, so you might not have consistent paint or paint that's dried up. So make sure you're doing the best that you can to avoid having to waste paint. Again, could just wipe the top as well. Whew. Alrighty, I'm gonna put a little bit of that sienna in. Alright. The metallic version. And this black. I know I'm going to use a lot of it, so that one I'll make a little bit thicker. And finally, this gold. Now that we got all our colors together, this is what the final paint palette looks like. And this is, of course, what the canvas looks like. So I think I've talked long enough, and all the interruptions, I feel like I have mitigated them all. So now I'm just gonna go paint. Y'all gonna watch, and of course we're gonna speed it up. But yeah, let us start. I'm really digging how black this black is. It's giving me the outer space vibes that I'm looking for. But I just thought of another color. It's this really gorgeous, deep, dark purple. And I'm probably gonna mix it in. So hold on to your horses. There's one blank cubby hole, as I say, or paint hole. And I'm gonna fill it up. It's giving me very much like coloring book, but the paint version, because I'm adding colors to like the spots that I already, you know, sketched out, etched out. So that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna add some water because the paint is slightly dried. You gotta work with what you got, okay? It's a reddish color. I think this is the raw. It does look raw. You know what it looks like? My ladies, if you watch it, you know, your monthly comes, and if you still use pads, you know, you see them balls, those clusters, those clumps, you see them, so you're like, then you realize like it's normal, you can relax now, and you're like, oh, okay. That's what that looked like. That's what that looked like. So I'm gonna mix it with this brown. This other, I think, sienna. This is the burnt sienna. It's giving me reddish undertone, which I've seen on black people. especially when it gets cold. That reddish undertone, I think I'm going to go with that. Maybe just a tad of this color, whatever that color is. I don't forgotten. Copper, I believe. Ooh, look at me remembering things. This kind of looks like stretch marks, and I'm here for it, but it's really because of the lead, because I was using a lead pencil. And like, you know, when you're working on a canvas, it rubs off. So it's giving me like stretch mark teeth, but I need to paint this. So it's gonna go away. But I'm gonna try to figure out how I can make this look like stretch marks, because this is obviously a woman's body and people have stretch marks. And stretch marks are perfectly fine, perfectly normal. And I want my girlies to have a stretch mark, because why not? And we should just normalize being normal. I'm so tired of people normalizing the fake. Normalize being normal so we can all live in our authenticity, be better people, love upon each other because we love ourselves first, period. In all totality, even the stretch marks and the cellulite. And fun fact, even skinny people can have stretch marks. I was trying to get the corner, but I don't want to mess it up. And it's art. There is no messing it up, but I have like a particular vision. I'm being precise, so I'm just going to use a smaller brush. Don't force it. Sorry about that. My camera went off and I totally did not pay attention to it. And then I realized it was off. So I don't know where we left off, but this is where I'm at. I want to get more paint to color in the figure, and then I want to give her more 3D life. Then want to add that purple to the black like I mentioned earlier. Then want to do the stores, and then we'll wrap them things up. I think I'm gonna keep the rest for like maybe some pop-up art in the future. I don't think I'm gonna be using this color anymore. Now we're gonna give this Galactic Mommy some dimension, so she's not just this blob, this golden blob. Let her dry for a few before we get into it. This is the purple I was talking about. It's so purple, so dark purple, it's almost black, and I love this color. I've used it with other projects before. I might show them in the editing process of pictures that I've used this beautiful dark purple, but, or should I say canvases, not pictures, other portraits and whatnot with this beautiful color. I'm just gonna free fall it right now. Just add little dots of it. Canvas. I need to get me another one. Fun fact, the first year I've had Paint Your Truth, this is about the 6th year, where I was doing a free community workshop. The artist Paul Goodnight actually donated some paint to the event, and this is one of the colors. So, and Paul Goodnight is a well-known artist, not just in Massachusetts, but just in general. He has worked on sets like Seinfeld, Fresh Prince, Bill Cosby, former, shows, hit shows with artistry and pizzazz and culture. He has created some of the paintings and artworks on those sets. So, there's that on that. Alright, light strokes. I'm gonna lightly stroke it in. Those spaces like black, there is color there. That's how we're able to see what goes on, the supernovas, the beautiful outer space. Able to tell like what planets are going through what season in their cycle. We're able to see like the light that surrounds it. Fun fact, Venus was known in the ancient world as like the second sun, because the ancients thought that Venus was the second sun, because Venus outside of the sun within our solar system is the brightest planet outside of the sun. And the sun's not a planet, it's a star. But you get my drift. It was known as Lucifer. So, like that. Some gold flakes. And my glitter. My uncontrollable gets everywhere. Thought I cleaned it, but surprise, it's still there. Gold glitter, which also was donated by Paul Goodnight. In certain lighting, you'll be able to see the purple, but I don't want it to be seen as apparent. Like, have you ever looked at the sky when it's like nighttime, and it's better of a view if you're closer to the sky? Like, you have like one of those rooftop type of views, or you're on a higher level, like if you live in an apartment building, the closer you are to like the sky, especially when it's at night, you realize that like, yeah, the sky is dark, it is black, it is dark purple, it's dark blue, whatever, but you can still see the clouds. Like they look kind of transparent, but like you could still see the outline, you could still see the clouds moving. Like the only thing that really changes with the night sky is that it gets darker, but all like the situations in the sky, you can still see it if you have really good access to the sky and you live in a city that isn't too like populated by like light, especially at dark. It's not like Vegas. You can still kind of see nature. You can see how the clouds still exist, and like the sky is still the sky, is just darker. I don't know, I'm not really good at explaining it, but I've seen it before, especially during like full moons where the only illumination there is the moon and the sky is still dark, and it's just like, wow, like once night hits, the sky is still there. Like everything that's there is still there. It's still moving. It's still functioning. The clouds are still floating around. It's still there. It's just darker. So I don't know if you already knew that, but I got better access to the sky at night. What is that? All right. So let me let that dry. And then I am going to add features to Our Lady, and then I'm gonna add some stars and whatnot to the background to give it that galaxy feel. Then we shall wrap this thing up. So now that everything is dried, let's try to wrap this thing up. I'm gonna add the stars, the moon and the stars. No, just the stars. Everything's dried now, so everything should be on the up and up. And I think I'm done. This took a very long time, and as you can see, I still have paints left over, which will turn into dried up paint for when I do pop-up art projects. But I am done. Lord have mercy, I feel like this took me forever, but I was so diligent and I was so into crafting this and making sure that it looked the way that I felt it needed to look. And I feel like I'm complete with this, especially with the chakra points. It hit me like, girl, did you do the chakra points? And I was like, ooh, I didn't, but I will now. And now I feel like it is completed. So let me show you the original cards again. These are the original. I don't know if everything's dry, so I'm just gonna hold them like this because I'll be pretty pissed at myself if I get paint on these cards. So these are what the original cards look like, and this is obviously my interpretation of the cards. So as you can see, this is the outline of number 44, sex. So this is the outline. She has panties on. I decided to make Big Booty Judy not have panties on, but I did put waist beads around it so it gives it dimension. Like from afar, it could look like a peen, it could look like a bong, or it could look like a waist. So I wanted to give it a little bit more depth, but hopefully it captures what I was trying to get. And then as you can see, the meditation pose is of 22 energy work. And I got the chakra points on deck as well. It's little mommy in the depiction. She has her hair as like the astral bodies. I didn't want her to have hair. Like there's something very bold, very like strength wise, courage wise when I see like a woman with a bald head. It's like she owns herself, she owns her agency, and it's just like carefree. It's like breaking all the maybe not all the beauty hierarchies, but it's like breaking the mold and breaking the expectations when a woman is confidently rocking a bald head. And a bald head is easy to maintain, but it is such a like freeing and vulnerable thing for a woman. So that's what I wanted to depict. And like I said, I etched it out, the depiction of the 22 energy work, to really finalize and fine tune as well as finalize what exactly I wanted to paint, as well as how it was going to ultimately look put together, because I didn't want to just go with the paintbrush and like have to redo and this, that, and the third. It would have taken me a lot more time. And even though I feel like it took me a long time, which it did, typically Paint Your Truth sessions are never this long, but because it's me, myself, and I and the camera, I was free to, you know, get some snacks, you know, and just relax throughout the process. But nonetheless, I wanted to fine tune the details to give it that ba-ba-boom. So this is what I depicted. So that's my question I'm going to answer. If I was talking to clients who was coming to the workshop Paint Your Truth Self-Care painting, I would be asking, you know, the clients, what did they paint? So I would be answering what I painted, and which I just answered, the depiction of the self-care oracle deck. How am I going to implement this into my life as self-care? Is the fact that like self-care is life. I feel like self-care for me is life, but also like everybody's searching for some type of meaning, some type of a stability, work-life balance. Especially since the pandemic, a lot of people have reanalyzed their lives and reanalyzed like, what is this thing called life? What is this thing called work? Like, what are the things that really matter to me? Because in the grand scheme of things, a lot of things that I thought mattered may slip out of my fingers, or things I thought that mattered were concrete. I find out that no, it isn't concrete. It doesn't have as much bearing as it used to. So with this depiction of self-care, I implemented every day. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I said that whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour out your day, find a way, shape, or form to implement self-care, because it's so important, especially since we live in a fast-moving society. Everybody's on that pick up and go. Everybody's on that hustle. Everybody's on like, we got to get it and get it and hustle and hustle. You need to take time out to give back to yourself, to listen to what your body needs, what your mental health is saying, and how you can implement it into your life. So it's just telling me to keep balance, especially if you're like me, you have anxiety and also depression, especially seasonal depression. It's important to listen to what you need and not be embarrassed about saying like, I need time out, like I need a break, like I need to create space, I need boundaries, I need to get back into myself, I need to get into my meditation. Because when you're able to balance yourself out, then you're able to balance out the exterior. If you're not good and feel surrounded and secure, not surrounded, but secure within yourself, then how can you be secure within other relationships or other people, places, and things and commitments that you have to them? So with the chakra points, it was just reminding me to take things slow and just go with the flow, because ultimately everything will work out for the highest of my abundance. Oh my goodness, I just realized that I did not even sage nothing. Ooh, I didn't even clarify anything. And because I remember it, I'm going to do it. So I know it's literally the end. But now that I remember it, I'm going to have to do it because it's a me thing. I'm a Taurus. But nonetheless, yes, it's about being focused. And that's what I wanted to say. With number 44 representing sex, to me, that's not the way I interpret the card. I interpret it as like getting into your cardinal, being very vulnerable, especially since I've been researching on my free time hierarchies, like how did the system of things become the system of things. And it started off from feudalism and like the downfall of that, and then the downfall of, Roman society, and then people going back into the old time ages, very much feudalism, knights, kings, lords, priests, and all of that, and how that filtered into modern society. And when I realized that a lot of modern society is able to exist because there's a lot of repression of our true authentic self. A lot of us are neurotic, a lot of us are anxious, a lot of us are depressed because we are repressing our true selves, whatever that means. And to be vulnerable, to be your true authentic self is scary because there's a lot of societal backlash as well as like repercussions for standing in your authenticity, even if it's true to yourself. And that's what causes the mental illness. That's what causes the negative feelings and so on and so forth. So with number 44, the way I interpret it, it was more so like getting back to self. 44 reduced gives you 8. 8 is very personal, especially when we're talking about numerology. 8 is the personal. It's like personal improvement, personal experiences. It's also talking about having faith and having the ability to continue with passion, continue with courage. And it's a brave thing to speak your truth. It's a brave thing to stand in your truth. And it's a brave thing to break down illusions, confusions, and disillusions. And with number 44 representing sex, it's like come back to your true nature, come back to your true self, come back to your true identity. When you are free, when you are carefree, when you stand in your truth, when you're unapologetic, when you say what's on your mind, when you go out for what best suits you, and not being afraid of that, not being afraid of what people are going to say. What if they mistake it? What if there's repercussions? It's just like a newborn baby. You come into the world, you're free of sins, free of like societal constructs, but you're also free because you have no clothes. And it reminds me very much of hunter-gatherer society, where because everybody's free and everybody's equal, everybody's happy, because as much as you put in is what you get out. And you know that everybody's putting the same amount of energy in to get the same amount of energy out. Because if one person or a group of people within the tribe doesn't put as much work as everybody else, not only is that unequal and it causes shifts and grifts and like contention within the tribe, but also progress doesn't happen for anybody in the tribe. So it's about keeping yourself in check when you're able to allow people to thrive and be themselves. I feel like a lot of people are so judgmental and they're so much of a critic, and they have such hard lines on things that have nothing to do with their lives, have nothing to do with what's going on in their homes or what's going on with their families, but they're so fixated on trying to control other people, manipulate people, constrain other people, because that's how they feel about themselves and their own lives. If we were all free, we would all be equal. And if we were all free and equal, we can see each other and love each other as brother and sister, because we love ourselves first and foremost. When you're able to love yourself boldly, authentically, unapologetically, accept all of you, then you can accept other people, even if they are the polar opposite of you, because you understand you loving you and them loving themselves equates to lack of contention, because you're not focused on what the other person's doing or not doing. You're focused on yourself. If that makes sense. It's kind of like once you build up your self-esteem and break all your traumas, you don't go back to the same like narcissist or abuser or like emotionally unavailable person, because that's something you're no longer attracted to. If you were to stand in your authenticity, whatever that means, then you wouldn't be so worried about what the next person's doing and their home and their business and their this, that, and the third, because you'd be too consumed with your own happiness and liberation. So there's that. So that is ultimately what I depicted. Did I leave anything out? Because I feel like I might have left something out. This is what I depicted. Oh, how did I feel about the painting process? Like I said, it was very relaxing. It took me a very long time to complete this, and it's really because I was taking my slow time. I was just in the vibes. I was in the mood. I'm listening between YouTube videos, podcasts, and news, like what's going on politically and whatnot, and I'm listening to music and I'm painting. Like, it's just a vibe, and I didn't really think about like, I need to complete it by this time, especially since my storage maxed out 2 to 3 times. So there's parts of the video when I edit this, you'll see like it jumps frames. It's because storage. Long story short, it was storage. But I was able to, fix it and get back into painting. It really soothes me, because the type of person that I am, I get anxious and I can ruminate on things. And when I'm distracted doing something that's productive, not only is it benefiting my self-care and my mental health, but also I'm not consumed with whatever that I'm stressed about or whatever I'm thinking about. So it's like a clarity of mind, as well as a way of me expressing my creativity. So that's how I felt about it. How I felt about the process. So this is the final depiction. Let me move the paint palette. That's what it finally looks like. And I used everything. I used pencil, I used eraser, I used paint. I'm gonna add the glitter effect, because like, who would I be to not add glitter? So y'all know eventually I'll put some glitter on and I'll add it as the final pictures for the edited video. But this is what the final depiction looks like. I'm proud of it. Let me hit you with the shameless plugs. So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube, and email Paint Your Truth. On Instagram, it is paintyourtruth_. Don't forget the underscore. And via email, it is paintyourtruth.art@gmail.com. Everything is in the description box, just like all the other YouTubers. As well as if you're on TikTok, I'm on TikTok too. My handle is @TravelTales. Regular spelling, except Tales is TALES. and a Z. So TALESZ, Travel Tales. And whatever I'm up to, whether it's in state, out of state, and I feel like it's something out of the ordinary, I'll post it there. So check it out. I think that's everything that I have to say. If you are in the Massachusetts area and you would like to schedule your own painting workshop, whether it's for you, your friends, your sisters, your co-workers, your bridesmaid, whatever the case may be, if you're interested in having your own process painting session with me, you could definitely reach out to me via email. And with all that being said, y'all, be blessed, be enlightened, be loved. I just mentioned the whole like spray and all that stuff. Child, I'm literally at the very end, so it really makes no sense. But it's just the gag. Like, I just jumped right into it. I didn't pull out the like typical stuff. I just got into it because I just really needed to paint. That's really God. I really just needed to paint and just get into the meditative process. But I'm not gonna hold you too long. I already did. I'll see you on the next Paint Your Truth self-care painting session. Definitely please like, subscribe, share, comment down below. I appreciate it all. And I'm out. Peace.